Dawn, you know the name. It is Gail's Rails. Famous, of course, for her senseless clothing. But more importantly, I gave her an award in Cork back in May for Best Fashion Entrepreneur 2025. Gail, it's lovely to see you again. Where's the award?
Oh, I forgot to bring it with me. I had to come all the way from Cork. I had to bring everything bar the kitchen sink. But I have it in a very safe place up in my studio at home in Cork.
Well, listen, congratulations.
Thank
because
you.
on the night, I remember you just being blown away that this had been given to you. But in my mind, it makes sense.
Do
you see what I did there?
Excuse
Pardon
the pun.
But it did. It made total sense to me. It was like, but you've been around. You know. I mean, even if you're not immersed in the world of influencers and in the world of fashion, everybody's heard of you.
Yeah. Well, I'm 10 years old. The blog itself, Gail's Rails, is 10 years old, and I'm in the fashion industry over 25 years. So I'm around a long time. These things aren't built overnight, and it's people say, "God, my God, your business grew so quickly." I went, "Oh no, it didn't."
No. You're like the actor who's just come out of. People say, "Oh, they just arrived on the scene," and they're like, "No. I was actually doing loads and loads of short films and working for free in the background, and then I got my big break." But Gail's Rails is a great name. I mean, not only the rhyme and everything that comes with that, but it's an easy name to remember
100%,
as well.
Yeah. And it's just, it kind of felt strange initially. But like 15 years ago, we just came up with the name and we just said, like, it just makes sense, like, just to actually have that name. As an image consultant and a personal stylist, it was kind of like Gail's Rails, or like, it's a no-brainer, really.
And I love talking to you before the mics went up there, because we were talking about, of course, your brand, and you were like, it makes sense. Sense is why we chose the name.
Yeah.
And isn't it funny, sometimes the most simple things can pop into your brain, and they're the ones that stick, like Gail's Rails or Sense.
That's it.
And I mean, your business is phenomenal. Like, please invite people into your corner and tell them how big everything has got.
It's blown up fairly quickly now in the last 3 years, particularly since we started the Sense brand. I was a dressmaker and seamstress in my back garden while I was rearing my kids, basically. So it worked really, really well in rearing them. And as I was helping women with alterations and that, they were more concerned about making sure we could, conceal the tummy area, or how do I do this, or can I do something with this? And then I realized I need to go and get my advanced diploma in image consultancy, because I was actually doing a lot more of that and advice. And when I went and got that done, I went and became probably one of the biggest personal stylists in Leinster. So I worked from Kildare Village and Whitewater Shopping Centre. And it was around that time when I started personal shopping, is when I actually started the blog. So that is exactly 10 years ago.
Because people think 10 years is a long time, but it's really not. I mean, 10 years goes by in a blink. And to have built your business from ground zero to where it's at, which is stratospheric as far as I'm concerned. I mean, you've got 180,000 people following you. She kindly brought the most beautiful jacket in a navy for me today, which I can't wait to wear at the weekend. And, it's like, how does one start with that vision? And then, to be where you're at, win the award back in May. Do you feel accomplished, or is there more to do?
I feel there's definitely more in me. I never ever thought when I left school, because I was more creative than academic.
Yeah.
But you're not told that back in the 90s. Like, you're just got, even in sixth year, I didn't know what I wanted to do. And it was just a case of, like, your career guidance teacher told you, receptionist or admin or something. And that's pretty much what I did. But it was always there. Like, my grandmother taught me how to knit. And so from the age of 7. So it was always there. My career was panned out for me before I didn't even realize it. And then in the last 10 years, it's evolved quite nicely, actually. It's evolved quite smoothly, because as dressmaker, seamstress, moving on to personal styling, personal shopping, pandemic kicked in, but with a huge following, automatically brands want to work with you. So I did influencing then for 6 years. And I was absolutely blessed that I was working with Pamela Scott at the time, and Richard Barron approached me. He heard that I had this business plan of my own clothing collection, and we put together a collaboration, and I was able to design 4 collections for them during the pandemic.
Fantastic.
So it was absolutely amazing. So the pandemic normally should have killed the fashion industry, but actually I was so lucky.
Well, everything's online, so you can buy with your thumbs now.
Because
right?
I was in trouble, because I was a personal stylist in shopping centres, and they closed down, and that was my bread and butter. So it was a case of, wow, like, what'll I do? I'm in trouble here. So during the pandemic, I reached out to all of the brands that I was working with and I offered to help their businesses, and I featured all of their clothing. They'd get them delivered to my address, and we did it free of charge to kind of help them. To try get, well, firstly, it's about content for me as well.
Yeah, of
But at the
course.
same time, helping other brands to kind of keep the face going because it was such a hard time. And it was just incredible then because I got 2 brand ambassador roles from that. So that little act of kindness really kind of came back on me. And I think people saw that. They saw that it wasn't just about the money. It wasn't just the salesy thing all of the time. And I suppose my unique selling point was the fact that I was able to give style advice. It wasn't just an online store that I was promoting or my own online store. It's about the extra addition that these people tune in to get. And women want to learn. They
Of
want
course
to
they
learn.
do. And let's harken back right to the beginning of where it all started when you were 7,
Yeah.
working with your grandmother.
Yeah.
Because these are the stories I think need to be told. And obviously the business has done phenomenally well. And we'll touch more on that. And of course, body confidence with women. But I'm interested to hear the story about your grandmother.
I was very, very close to my grandmother, and she died unfortunately when I was about 12 years of age. So it was quite a hit because she really, my mother kind of struggled a little bit with me as a baby, so I wouldn't take the bottle for her or anything. So my grandmother had to come over but probably 3 or 4 nights a week to actually feed me and that, because I was just a bit difficult as a baby.
Listen, I have a 16-month-old. I know what difficult is, but no, it's just part of the process. My grandmother also,
Yes.
helped my mum and everything.
So
as
it was just that kind of bond that we had, and I was the eldest grandchild as well. So I was like that special grandchild, and like I went to Presentation Convent in Terranure, so there was a lot of craft and sewing and knitting involved and with the nuns. So I absolutely thrived on it. So like I was kind of more advanced because Nana was showing me how to do different things and different stitches and that. So I was really self-taught by the time I was like 16 years of age, and I was always creating, always making, always designing, always buying patterns. It was just a passion inside me, and not one person picked it up. Not one adult picked it up and said, that's what you should do.
Yeah.
And I think that's what young people we really need to focus on, the young people. And if they're not very academic, like what is their creative side? Like what can they do to create a career for themselves? And it took me till I was 35 years of age to realize it.
Stop,
Yeah.
really? That's the funny thing, isn't it? It's like somebody picking up a guitar and they're very musical, or you can feel that they're musical.
Yeah.
But with you becoming, a seamstress, even at that young age, because you had the passion for it, nobody really allowed that in. Isn't that strange?
Cool. It wasn't cool. And
that's actually a nice thing for people to hear, because sewing, even in my day, you kind of think knitting and sewing,
and you think of nanas, and you think of like, oh my God, like you wouldn't be seen dead with a pair of knitting needles or whatever, like, or crochet. But I don't know, I just absolutely had such a passion for it, and I made and designed my own Deb's dress. I had a vision in my head and I knew exactly what I wanted. Was never going to be able to buy it, and it was based around November Rain by Guns N' Roses. So it was her wedding dress. It was short at the front,
I remember
and
that
it was long at the back. So I was so proud of it, like, and it's still here to that day. Like,
you still have it.
Still have it.
So sadly, we had a closet clear out in my house before Sarah arrived.
Don't tell me.
I think, Gail, you must be as heartbroken as I am, because the dress went, and I had one of my best friends come up to me and she shook it at me and she said, this is going to go, right? You wore that when you were 18. I'm now obviously 47. And I was like, but I felt at my best then.
Yeah.
Gone into a box. Nobody knows where it is. It went off to, of course, Oxfam, Salvation Army, to Vince Paul. I felt like I was going to hunt it down to this day. But anyway, somebody glorious is wearing it now, and it made me feel so good. So, that's the whole thing though, isn't it, about clothes? Like, just my point there, that they make you feel good. And did you feel good making items? Did you feel like
I did, and I think
had a good energy when you were creating?
I didn't really have a good energy about myself when I was younger. I was very self-conscious of my body shape. So I've developed this career for myself out of something that I was extremely conscious of at a young age. So growing up as a teenager, like, I had my 2 sisters were a size 6. All of my friends were like just tiny little figures, like, and I was always a 12 to 14, but a curvaceous 12 to 14. So I always had strong bum, strong hips, strong thighs. So I had to adapt my fashion for myself as a teenager. And I always saw my fashion as being very boring. And it wasn't actually until I went and got my advanced diploma in image consulting that I realized that I always had a unique style myself. It was always a classic personality that I was. So I loved simple, elegant clothing. And I've always stayed true to that, even in my designs.
When we talk about body image, body confidence, I mean, oh goodness, I mean, we could do a whole podcast just on that
Hmm.
alone.
Hmm.
I know we're going to touch on Slimming World with you. I was a brand ambassador for Weight Watchers before myself, and I suppose a bit like you, I was hovering between the 12. Seems so when people say 12, you're like, well, sure, 12 is 12, but it depends on how the 12 is on you, right?
Absolutely.
How is
Yeah.
the 14 on you?
Yeah.
How's the 16 on you? How's
Mm.
the 18 on you? And in my pregnancy, I would have gone right up to a 22. So, I've lost considerable amount of weight as well, but it's that sense of, how does the confidence come no matter what size you are and shape you are?
Yeah, in 2013, I went into Slimming World and I was very self conscious. I was a size 16 and I was just so self conscious about myself, but I dedicated myself to it. I said, I need to do this for myself. It was stopping me from doing things I wanted to do socially, everything. It was just completely and utterly blocking my road to freedom. And that's the way I felt trapped in a body that I wasn't confident in. And I suppose when I lost the weight, and I lost it like within 18 months, and I was just the perfect size 12. I was really happy with what I was at. And it gave me this unbelievable boost of confidence to say, right, you have all of these ideas in your head. They're not going to become reality unless you actually do something about it. And 2015 is when I said, right, I'm actually going to put myself out there and start social media. And that was the biggest step. Yeah. Yeah.
Brave. Because that's 10 years ago, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
that sense of it wasn't really,
No,
was
it
it?
wasn't huge. I was
Wasn't
probably
huge.
one of very few in Ireland that was doing it at the
I got married
time.
that year. So I'm just trying to
Yeah,
cast my mind back
yeah.
to, did we have our wedding? We did in bits and bobs, but it was
Hmm.
probably the very old filters and the different things.
Yeah,
Now
yeah,
everything is video and
yeah.
everything can be filtered within an inch of its life. But I suppose in 2015, it would have been more in its infancy or
It
in its
was.
toddlerhood back
And
then.
like there was definitely a gap in the market for somebody of my age. Like I'm 48 now, but I was 38 at the time and I had two children and it was kind of my business was always aimed towards the normal woman, the busy woman, the mammy, the woman that needed style advice where they were felt in a rut because I think you're only very, very qualified in anything if you've gone through those emotions and feelings yourself.
Of course.
If
I
you
agree.
have really felt that pain of that insecurity and that depression and that sense of just worthlessness, I think it's just absolutely incredible to be able to share that with people and design clothes for people. But it's more than the clothes. It's trying to build women's self-esteem and self-confidence of not following trends and working with the body shape that you have and understanding what works on your body shape. And what works on your body shape is not necessarily what's going to work on your next door neighbor's body shape or your sister's
Well,
body
that's
shape.
absolutely so true because, again, I just mentioned it briefly there. I've never mentioned it before, but obviously during a pregnancy, things
Mhm.
happen. I, I,
Mhm.
I got a little bit bigger
Yeah.
that I even realized or even envisioned would
Yeah.
happen. And obviously,
Mhm.
the beautiful Sarah arrived. But, within that space, obviously there's nothing you can do because you want to have a healthy
Yeah.
child. It's all about the
Yeah.
well-being of not only yourself, but also your beautiful child. And I suppose when I came out of the pregnancy and I had a hard look at the mirror, I was like, whoa, I
Yeah.
mean, how do I dress
Yeah.
me now as,
Yeah.
as a new mom at maybe, a size of whatever I was, 2022. And that was tricky
Yeah.
because I'd never been there before.
Yeah.
So I didn't really know how to not only deal with the emotions of being there, but what the hell do I wear?
Yeah.
And, I kind of went into that whole sense of black. Black's what I
Yeah.
wear.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But actually, talk us through because you've so many beautiful colors, so many different sizes.
Mhm.
How can one get out of that mindset that black's the cover up or the cover up is to cover
Well,
here?
listen, there's nothing wrong with black, but like
Well, I love it, yeah, but
like especially if you're winter coloring, like it's always your go-to. But I'm a color analyst as well, so basically I have masterclasses on how to dress your body shape, and weirdly enough, I don't incorporate color analysis into it because my ethos is all about simplifying fashion for women. So if I try and incorporate and say that pink is the only pink that you can wear, now
Yeah.
go find a blouse in it. Like all you're doing is complicating the whole shopping thing for women. I think your gut is never wrong when it comes to your
True.
own sense of style
True.
and what you feel comfortable in. And I do feel like that, there's nobody out there. I've dressed hundreds and hundreds of women in dressing rooms over the years. And there isn't one woman out there that wants their lumps and bumps or wants their parts of their body that they're feeling self-conscious of exposed. So I'm trying to teach them how to conceal the areas that they're feeling conscious about to maximize their confidence themselves, and they feel just much better and they can get on with their day.
Have you met a woman yet who's been confident in the mirror in all your years?
Not one in all my years. Not one in all my
Really?
years.
No matter what?
The dressing room is a very, very sad place. It was probably where I learned the most as to what women really needed, really wanted, and then realised.
What would they say? What's their rhetoric? I mean, I know what mine is. What's most women's rhetoric when they come in and they have you there? And obviously they're in their smalls. They don't feel good. Nobody,
Absolutely.
there's obviously that sense of, I'm exposed.
They're very vulnerable when they first arrive with me. And I can see the hurt, and I can see, because I was there and I really could feel it in them. And it's about focusing on their actual body shape and dressing for their body shape, and then putting stuff on that they might feel, no, there's no way, Gail, there's no way I could do that. I couldn't wear a slim leg trouser or whatever. But you're trying to teach them and educate them, because they could come in with no sense of their own style. They're just following trends in Zara or River Island or whatever, and they think that's what they should.
They all run on different sizes, of course. A 12
completely.
or a 15, a 16 might be a 15.
Oh, absolutely.
we have to cater for those in between sizes.
100%. And it was one thing that was really important to me when it came to my sizing charts, that like everything was going to be consistent and everything was going to be like, I obviously seamstress and dressmaker, like I base my sizing on a real size 12 or a real size 14, so women actually feel like if they're a size 12 and they're not going into Marks and Spencer's and they have to put on a size 16 for it to work. I wanted my sizing to be very realistic.
What message would you put to women out there now? We've just spoken about the in-between sizes. You mentioned Marks and Spencer's. Obviously, I've shopped there loads of times to get clothes for TV or just during my pregnancy or whatever. And it's a great store.
Fantastic.
What message would you like women to hear today in the podcast here? Because obviously the name of the show is Spotlight, so drawing the spotlight on something. But you must have had so many people DMing you, client stories. But what's the message you'd like women and men to take away from today?
I think, to be honest, just take a very close look at your own life. I speak about this regularly when it comes to mental health and fashion, and I think they're quite closely linked when it comes to how you're feeling in your own skin. A lot of it can do with outside influence, and sometimes you might not be in the right headspace to even focus on certain things. And I say, give yourself a break. Even to this day, I'm a sufferer of anxiety and depression. And like I said, I speak about it very, very openly. And only last week, I had a terrible panic attack. And it came out of absolutely nowhere. But what I've learned to do is just be that little bit kinder to yourself. So on those bad days, let them be bad days. So don't beat yourself up on that bad day.
Okay.
You will naturally say, well, I'm letting people down, or I haven't done this, or I haven't done that, or just let yourself. Your body is screaming out at you. So just don't always be trying to change things or trying to do things. It's not going to work unless your headspace is right. So always look at your outside influence and what's going on in your life.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for sharing. That's very kind of you. Let's talk about your Instagram. It's a wash of so many different plethoras from not only your brand, but as you said, giving women the boost and the confidence that they need. We just met another of our podcasters there. I won't say who. And he said to me, why doesn't she do a male line?
Every time.
And I said, that is a question I am putting in the podcast.
You divil.
Come on, Gail.
Well, William, my partner, and he appears on the blog every so often because the two of us were very big into DIY. Like, that is my outlet, DIY interiors.
Passion,
I'm very, very handy with a paintbrush and a drill.
Well, I mean, if you can sew, you're definitely able to do everything else.
And that's thanks to my dad because literally he taught me everything. He's a motor mechanic. But every time William comes on the blog, everybody says William should start his own blog. We should definitely start doing a man's collection. Absolutely. And I think my predominant audience is between the age of 35 and 65. And the women want their men to look well. And I suppose they're saying, Gail, will you please start a man's collection, just a simple classic men's collection. So it could be something very much in the pipeline simple, sensible clothing for men. That is just, there you go.
It's just been born here.
It's just been born.
In the Stella in Rathmines. Because it is relatable and it is, the style tips people want to know. I mean, I do feel the men are left out a little bit. You know what I mean? They don't get a sense of...
But they don't really have any interest in it. Like William, oh my God.
Oh, my husband does. I mean, mean, my God, if there was, oh my God, he's a fashion person through and through, loves fashion. My father loved fashion. I think sometimes, men can be misunderstood and that it's there and it's the, but I do feel that, men's fashion definitely has a rebirth. It needs another rebirth. And, with all the magazines out there, we've got obviously our GQs and our Vanity Fairs. But for men, I do feel that there's something brewing there for you.
Yeah, I don't know. There's very few men that I've come across now in my life that are into their fashion. So
I'm the 1 percentile in my household. Yeah.
William would literally stay in his Snickers because he runs my warehouse. So he literally is in his Snickers gear and his like Air Texas or Golf Air Texas, like that be it. And we go on holidays, he's 2 pairs of shorts and 3 t-shirts.
Oh my goodness. Whereas you got the 5 suitcases. Yeah. Well, we're definitely a bit there, but no, definitely. No. But male fashion is beautiful as well. And there's so much that can be done. And actually speaking about body confidence, there's many male friends of mine in every category who have also struggled with their own body confidence. Yeah. And I think that's also
the midlife swell and things like that. Like it is, clothing is an incredible mask for helping yourself feel better about yourself. So if you get up in the morning, and I always say makeup is the same thing, you put a little bit of makeup on and you make an effort. And I think during the pandemic, it was just so difficult. I noticed all of my followers were just sinking into that pajama stage and just were losing their self-esteem and self-confidence completely. So we did a wardrobe challenge. So instead of actually going shopping, you go shopping in your wardrobe every night. So I came online. It was really cool because we were all locked up, and I chose items that everybody would have in their wardrobe. So it was just giving them a really fresh look, and people were coming on, and over 3,500 people participated and sent in their photographs to me of the Gail's Rails. 3,500 people. It's one of my proudest things, and I don't speak about it enough.
Fantastic.
It was so empowering to see these women dress up in a pandemic in their own home, but they just felt really good about themselves, but they were shopping their wardrobe. They were
I mean, this is fascinating because I'd love you to come to my wardrobe and just, pull it apart.
Fresh eyes.
Because there's so many things I love, so many things I'm scared to give away. And then other bits that I just, I know I kind of love to hate, but I wear them till they're threadbare. Yeah. What would you say to those that are trying to clear out? Because we all fluctuate,
I did wardrobe detoxes for a very long time, went to people's houses. And the one thing I will say is, like, don't be just because you want to clear space. You have to look at the pieces that are sentimental to you as well.
Oh,
you might not
so
ever.
The Deb's dress was a bad move.
Exactly. Like, it's just, they're pieces that, they're memories, and that's different. They can go into a special box. They never have to be thrown out. I would say that as you get older, your body does change. So you need to evolve ever so slightly, but it's all about your gut. If you put that cardigan on or you put that blazer on and you go, and you take it off every time, that should not be in your wardrobe.
Okay, fair enough.
It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
And I suppose the simplest thing I would say to women if they do want to do a wardrobe detox is take the 5 things out of the wardrobe that they love the most. Now, it could be a pair of leggings, or it could be a dress that they wore to a wedding, or it could be, anything. The simplest of items, and lay them out. Look at the style, look at the shoulders, look at the shape of the skirt or the dress, look at why it makes you feel fantastic, and build your wardrobe around that. If you're really finding it difficult to understand body shape guidelines, just look at the clothes that you already have that make you feel good.
Very true. It is very, very true because, there's so many pieces I have in there. I have this, which I love, and I wanted to have this on today. It made me feel good. But then there's other pieces that I put on and I go, oh God, no.
You feel ick.
That should be gone. Yeah. But for some reason, it's like attachment issues, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. I think it is. I think that's the problem with women. Like, you do need to let certain stuff go. And
the just in case category.
Yeah, but like those things that make you feel ick, even when you're, if you put on weight or if you lose weight, that piece is never going to make you feel good about yourself.
Yeah, so. Very true. Very true. Now, of course, you have a very busy business. Gail's Rails is huge. I mean, not only the online presence, but obviously you've got your husband there, and the packaging so beautifully arrived today. Talk me through a day in Gail's Rails. Like, what happens?
Well, Gail's Rails it's almost 4 businesses, to be honest with you, because we have the Gail's Rails online boutique. So I have ready-made clothes that I source, and I try to find pieces that are going to be very simple. Same with my ethos, the whole thing about simple, sensible clothing, and that will work well with my own clothing collection. Then we have the Sense brand, which is in the warehouse as well. So that's my own clothing collection, my own designs.
Which you're wearing today.
Which I'm wearing today. Beautiful. I live in it.
I have one in navy, by the way, which I'm dying. You're kindly brought up for me. I'm dying to try that. Yes.
So the collection is very basic. It is a capsule collection.
Yes,
that's
indeed,
very timeless
absolutely.
and very, elegant. point, and it's just easy pieces that people can put on them. And that's basically what the two businesses come together. So the warehouse is ongoing. Every Sunday I feature a fashion show of all of the new pieces that have come in every week, and I give style tips of how to style them or how to mix and match and how they'll work for other pieces that you might have in your wardrobe. So it's like a style session, but it's also fantastic from a sales perspective of the online boutique as well, and incorporating people to the website to actually see my collection itself and how good it's going to make you feel. So it is all about focusing on fabric compositions is really, really important to me. The mixture of certain fabrics together and how they feel against the skin, and how, if anybody's tactile sensitive or anything, or anybody wants, you're conscious of your cellulite and that. So it's all about what compression is going to work on the sports leggings, on the jeggings, on the leatherettes. Leatherettes were a big challenge for me because I was the perfect model, because I was a girl with a strong leg, strong hip. And I said, right, okay, a leather trousers just never looked well on me, but I mastered that one. I mastered that one.
I love a leather legging.
Oh,
I love them. We're on television a lot. They're
tummy control, anti-cellulite, anti-muffin top, the works.
They work though. They look great, and with a blazer, they look amazing. But like bringing because the reason you're on here today is not only for you being, obviously a fantastic entrepreneur, but it's also to inspire those listening today, younger ladies, younger guys, that are maybe thinking to themselves, I want to do what Gail's doing, but maybe they've a different slant. Okay, that's fine. But what would you say have been your biggest kind of pitfalls and highs when it's come to building your brand? And what advice would you give to people?
Well, the biggest pitfall I ever had was listening to too many opinions and being so conscious of being a pleaser all of the time, and then being conscious of what other people thought of me because my online presence and things like that. So once you eliminate that from your everyday worry, it's going to work. You just have to not care about what other people think, because
that's hard.
That is really, really hard. And I'll be honest with you, I was 45 before that actually really worked for me. So in the last 3 years, I feel like my confidence is at its max. It's at its peak. And I know that vibe comes across on the camera. And if you can just block out what other people are thinking, if your gut is telling you to do it, just go for it. Just do it. And don't wait, and never ever think that you're too old. Because like I said, my career started very, very late. I'm 48 years of age, creeping up on the 50 mark. And it's just never too late. It's never too late.
I'm only a year behind you. It's that sense of, what do you do if you want to become an entrepreneur? And because some people think, oh, I'd love to do that, but how do I even start?
Well, it's like, I put it this way, passion is going to be behind everything. If you don't have passion in what you're going to do, forget about it. If you're looking for a quick buck, forget about it. Like, if this is something that you're really passionate about, that passion is going to drive that brand to a completely different level. And I think that's just common sense, really. Common sense is always going to prevail. So always try follow your gut. And when it comes to fashion, when it comes to makeup, when it comes to an idea that you have in your head. And if you're struggling financially, which was my biggest problem, like thanks to Pamela Scott, they funded my first, second and third collection. But then I needed to go out and do it on my own. But because of that support and being able to put the money together for my next big launch, I was able to do it on my own. So there's always going to be stepping stones. But my very first port of call was your local enterprise. Local enterprise were an absolutely massive support to me. And microfinance, 25,000, you go through the mill now to get your 25,000, I can tell you. But I paid it off. The last transaction went out on the 20th of February, and it's paid and all. So and ever since, I've been able to fund my own collections going forward. Amazing. So it's fantastic.
But it's busy, right? At the end of the day, we have to talk about some of the negatives. Like, you got to feed the beast every day. You've got to be up, camera ready, put the makeup on, or maybe don't put the makeup on. But it's just that sense of, the content is tough. But that's your game, right? So it has to be there, because otherwise people don't know what's in the collections or what is working.
That is a big downfall.
Because some days you probably don't feel like doing it.
Oh my God, more days than you know, Lisa. More days than you know, and especially as you come into perimenopause and that, more days than you know. So that is a bit of a demon inside me at the moment. But I've started to just, like I said, be kind to myself and accept those days and say, okay, look, it'll pass. It'll always pass. But it's definitely perimenopause. I find is very difficult. I can understand why so many successful women in this age category fall back and leave their careers, because it is such a difficult stage. It really, really is. But there's huge pitfalls, like, and that is probably the one of them. And my business is so reliant on social media.
Exactly. So as I said, even the days, I mean, we all have them where you're like, oh my God, I couldn't face that. Now I'm not great on social media. Just everybody probably knows that I just put up a bit of work and this kind of thing. And I know I could probably do more. I've been told I should do more, but I feel with a toddler anyway, I'm so busy, I can't. But it's that sense of I love looking at other people.
Yes.
So that kind of gives me joy because when I get a 5-minute window or I have a cup of tea and a biscuit, I'm like, looking at them. But I mean, for me to do it, it's exhausting. Yeah.
It
So
is
you
exhausting.
must find that, but then that's your job, that's your business, so it has to be.
It is, because I've mouths to feed, like, and I have bills to pay, and I have wages to pay, and like that pressure is on. But I spoke about this so openly on that bad day. So that's what makes me so relatable.
Yeah.
I think it's because, I have this bad day. I'm here I was dolled up to the nines, had the makeup done, I had the beautiful jumpsuit on, showcasing it. And I just came on and I said, lads, I can't. I'm wilted. The sense of anxiety inside me at the moment, I can't even get the words out. I said, I couldn't even string a sentence together. I had to record it about 20 times. I just said, no, just stop. Your body is screaming at you to stop. And I think that's the biggest thing. Just listen to your body, listen to your body and just stop when it tells you to stop.
Now, some people, this has been spoken across all of our podcasts with several people, but you especially as an entrepreneur, and especially the market that you're in, which is body shape, body shaping, master classes. Obviously, there's a lot of women that are and men, again, that are tuning in and thinking, oh, this is great. And then there's others that just aren't as kind and think, what are you doing? And how could you be the one to be telling me what to wear? How do you battle that?
It's just ignorance.
The nonsense, really.
The nonsense, that's it. And that's exactly the word I'd sum it up as. It's just nonsense. There are people that don't want to see you getting on. They see that you've started this very simple idea and you've exploded it into something that's absolutely huge, that the majority of the country is accepting and loving. And Gail's Rails and Sense Clothing is almost a household name now. I don't know, they just don't like to see you get on. And I think that's generally that's Irish
hard,
thing.
Right? It's hard.
It is hard because you focus on the one negative where you've after getting hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of positives, but that one negative needles at you, and
still a little bit.
It still does. We're only human, and especially if you're having a bad day, then all of a sudden you feel like you're doing something wrong, but you let that one little negative comment overpower you. But it's about releasing that. And like I said, not giving a damn. You're not going to be everyone's cup of tea. At the end of the day.
You never are, no matter what you do.
No
even if you're working in the bank or you're, the local GP. Somebody always has something bad to say about you.
That's
it.
That
person.
You're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. You're not going to be able to please everybody. Thankfully, I have been accepted. I don't get very much of it. And women do relate to me very much so, thank God.
Well, you won an award. I mean, best fashion entrepreneur. I mean, obviously winning awards is nice and everything, and I suppose it's a bit of a confidence boost and it's a stamp of approval, really. But it is about you then driving that business, and for women driving their own businesses, that's also hard.
It is.
Yeah. Because. Well, what is it about that is tricky?
Yeah, and I think it's people's other people's opinion, or what will my sister think, or what will my mother think, or what am I making the right decision, or how am I going to support this financially, But I think this escalated during a pandemic, but also while I was going through a divorce. And I think women are like tea bags. We don't know how strong we are till we get into hot water. And literally this unbelievable sense of empowerment and I'm going to make this work because I'm going to show them that I can do this. And this idea is not stupid.
Oh, well, listen, there's nothing stronger than, as somebody said to me, revenge and a bit of respect.
Yeah.
Because you want to make sure you can prove to people you can do it.
Mm-hmm.
We're running out of time, Gail. I can't believe it. It's so fast, the podcast. And I hope people have got a flavour of you and obviously an essence of who you are. And of course, all the incredible work that you do. But there's more work to be done. So finally, my question is, what are the next endeavours for you and your brand?
Well, we have launched 7 collections already this year. So we've another 4 to launch. So we've a very big one at Christmas time. And again, it's all based around the capsule wardrobe. It's just building on the Sense brand. It's bringing out piece by piece of what I feel is going to work in everybody's wardrobe and work on everybody's shape. So yes, there's lots more to come in the next 4 months. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Gail, we're out of time. Isn't that terrible?
It is.
You know, I should make these podcasts an hour because people are saying, I've loads more to say. Of course you do. We'll get you back on, of course, in another series. But we are thrilled to have you on. Congratulations on
Thank
the
you
award.
so
I know it
much.
meant a lot
It
to you.
did. It
You
did.
came all the way up from Cork
Yeah.
today to be with us here in the Glorious Cinema. And I'm wishing the very best of
Thank
luck.
you
I'm a
so
big
much.
fan and I know everyone is as well.
Really,
You're
really
welcome.
appreciate you having me. Thank you.